Polished silver, delicate porcelain, everything in Edward Langston's penthouse was pristine, tailored, and expensive. That's how he liked it. At 54, the self-made tech millionaire had everything money could buy, but very little money couldn't. He noticed the chipped teacup on a Thursday. It was sitting in the sink, behind his usual bone china. Cracked, mismatched, completely out of place. It was clearly not his. "Whose is this?" he asked Margaret, his longtime housemaid, as she cleared the breakfast dishes. Margaret barely looked up. "Mine, sir." It bothered him more than it should have. Not the cup, but that she brought it from home. That she didn't feel worthy enough to use one of his dozens. That she always moved so quietly, spoke so little, and disappeared the moment her shift was done. Edward had never really seen her, not truly. She had worked for him for 5 years. He didn't even know her birthday. And maybe it was guilt, or curiosity. Or something deeper he hadn't named yet. But that night, as she left at precisely 5 p.m. in her faded gray coat and worn-out shoes, he made a decision. He followed her. She didn't take the subway. She walked, miles. Through the bustling downtown, past restaurants he dined at, into neighborhoods he didn't know existed. The sidewalks cracked. The streetlights dim. He kept his distance, feeling ridiculous in his sleek black Mercedes, but something wouldn't let him turn back. Margaret finally stopped at a crumbling old building that looked more like a shelter than a home. She disappeared inside. Edward waited. 15 minutes passed. Then he saw it, a soft yellow light in one window flickered on. The curtain parted. That's when he saw the children. 3 of them. 2 girls, maybe 10 and 6. A toddler boy on Margaret's hip. All smiling. She was laughing. She looked 10 years younger in that moment. The older girl brought over a pot and they sat around a rickety table. Dinner was likely canned soup. But they held hands. They bowed their heads. They looked like a family. And just like that, everything changed. The next day, Edward did something he hadn't done in years. He asked Margaret if she'd join him for tea. In his kitchen. Just the 2 of them. She hesitated. "Sir. No formalities. Just tea." She sat stiffly. He poured her tea in one of his finest cups. "I followed you last night," he said gently. Her eyes widened. "I shouldn't have. But I did." Margaret said nothing, waiting. "You're raising them?" he asked quietly. She looked down. "Yes. My sister passed 3 years ago. Their father disappeared. I couldn't let them go to foster care." Edward's throat tightened. "You've been doing this all alone?" Margaret nodded. "Working during the day. Cleaning houses at night. It's hard. But they're good kids. They deserve love." He stared at her, this quiet, steady woman who had dusted his paintings, folded his towels, and lived a second life he never imagined. "You should have told me. It wasn't your burden." He swallowed hard. "Maybe not. But maybe I can help carry it now." What happened next made headlines. Edward didn't just help, he changed their lives. He set up a trust for the children, bought them a safe new home near the best schools, and paid off Margaret's debts. He offered her a new role, house manager, full benefits, and weekends off. She cried for the first time in front of him. But that wasn't what made the biggest impact. It was what he gained. He began visiting the family weekly. Reading to the kids. Fixing dinner with Margaret. Sometimes he brought games. Sometimes just stories from his past. Over time, the lonely old man with the glass penthouse discovered something money had never given him. Connection. Purpose. Family. One Sunday evening, little Ava, the youngest, climbed into his lap and asked, "Are you my uncle now?" He smiled through tears. "Something like that, sweetheart." Years later, when Edward gave the commencement speech at Ava's college graduation, he shared their story. He ended with this: "I once thought success meant ownership, owning homes, cars, companies. But true wealth is what you give away. Sometimes the most ordinary people are carrying the heaviest loads, silently, with grace. And if you dare to look, truly look, you just might find your life's greatest treasure hiding in the shadows of your own home. Because kindness isn't charity. It's humanity. And sometimes, one chipped teacup can be the start of everything."